This is the Good Neighbor Podcast, the place where local businesses and neighbors come together. Here's your host, Regina League.
Well, hi, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Good Neighbor Podcast. My name is Regina League, and I am the owner of South Charlotte Media Group here in Southern Charlotte. And what I love to do is interview business owners so you get to know them more and learn a little bit about what they do. So I'm very excited. Today, I'm welcoming Theresa Viera. She's the founder of Modern Legal here in Charlotte. Welcome, Theresa.
Hey, Regina. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. I have definitely heard of you guys, and I've got a ton of questions, but I know your firm is all about family law. So let's just start with a little bit about yourself and your journey to becoming an attorney, being so focused on family law, and then we can talk about modern legal.
Sure. Well, just to jump off, family law is an area of law and just an area in general that is very near and dear to my heart because I was a child of a very bad situation, is how I like to put it. There was child abuse and domestic violence and other issues that arose. And once my mother made the very difficult decision to leave, and mind you, she was actually battling cancer at the same time. Strongest woman I know. She went ahead and filed for a domestic violence order of protection and hired a family law attorney. Those were, I would say, the first two pivotal steps to literally changing her life and thereby changing my life. And by the age of 12, I was in and out of courtrooms and testifying about the abuse and things like that. But honestly, that was one of the best parts of my life because it was finally bringing light to what was happening behind closed doors for so many years. And from that backdrop, seeing how the judicial system worked, seeing how different nonprofits assisted domestic violence survivors and their children, as well as seeing how family law attorneys worked, I became inspired by the age of 12 to become an attorney myself. And that started the long journey of not only graduating high school, but going to college and then going to law school. I did my legal studies at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. And even while there, I was having to deal with domestic violence issues that surfaced every now and again with my father. But with all that stated, we are good today. I say that in terms of we, both me and my mom, but also my brother, my husband, and we are safe and we are able to really foster a better future for all of our family members because we have broken the cycle of domestic violence. And that was really the basis upon which I wanted to create a law firm specific to addressing the needs of family law clients, families, children, and the list goes on right here in North Carolina.
So did you jump right out of law school and start your own firm?
No, I actually did join the team of two law firms previous to opening my own law firm. So I was in practice about 8 years before I started Modern Legal. I learned a lot of great attorneys out there. I still like to say we, cheers a glass of wine at the holiday dinners and parties. But I will say, and it's nice to hear, especially from one of my former supervising attorneys and mentors, that they saw it in me before I saw it in myself, that I would create and develop my own legal team and law firm.
That is amazing. That has to make you very, very happy. So why do you call it Modern Legal?
Yes. So Modern Legal, well, first off, it's interesting because I was obviously a very busy student and adult once I started practicing law. I never changed my last name from my father's name. And I think in part that's because, everything gets tied to your name as soon as you're born. I mean, it's on your birth certificate, it's on your driver's license, and the list goes on. And so I only wanted to change my name when I got married. However, I didn't get married until years after I opened my own law firm. And what is required by the state is that your last name be attached to your law firm. Well, I didn't want my dad's name on my law firm. So I was like, I need to create a different name. Go one step further. Part of the reason I created the law firm when I did was because of the occurrence of the global pandemic and the fact that a lot of law firms and the judicial system were not prepared. This included being ready from a technology standpoint to serve clients via virtual meetings, being able to collect documents via email or some type of online document management system. And I actually, prior to going to college, had a techie background. For example, I built my first website when I was 10 years old. So I had the background under me to be like, okay, not only am I going to create a law firm, but I'm going to change the face of it and make sure we bring to it innovation and different technological advances as we sit here right now, we're doing a virtual call to record this meeting. And that is what's going to be the face of the future. So at Modern Legal, we are here and ready to take on those technological advances and challenges and turn them to benefit our clients.
So give me an example as a client, what I would see. How does that transform?
Sure. I'll begin with, you could be a client and have a family law case here in North Carolina, even if you don't live in North Carolina. So first things first, you are not required to drive all the way to Charlotte, North Carolina, just to sit down with an attorney. We provide consultations online via virtual meeting or by phone. And in addition to that, you can retain us or sign any documents or fill out any paperwork online. So for example, our fee agreements, you can actually sign from the comfort of your smartphone. You don't even need a computer. You can even send us documents to what we do is we share a secure Google Drive link in which you can upload all your documents. So the days of having to print out 100 bank statements are done away with. Rather, we give you the Google Drive link. You download the bank statements from your bank account online, and you just drag and drop. And in real time, we can see them as you upload them.
Amazing. Well, I noticed on your website, you use words like holistic approach, transparent. What does all of that mean for you?
That's a great question. Because I don't think a lot of people put attorney and holistic in the same sentence. And I've been in many situations where people are like, oh, you are just a different type of attorney. And I say that because I personally have the wherewithal to understand that the traditional adversarial system of the courts is not what's actually best for families. The common example we give is that it's odd how judges will listen to parents in a courtroom. They will be mudslinging each other. She's the worst mother. He's the worst father. And all of a sudden, these parents are expected to go to Friday night soccer game and cheer on their child and still be civil. And that's not possible. Like, we are human. If we are angry or frustrated, it sits with us, and we can't just ask individuals to be logical, rational, and amicable when they were just mudslinging in a courtroom. Go one step further. The adversarial system provides a lot of limitations. Judges, they have a very hard job. Let me start there, but they still do not have all the tools that parties can have outside of a courtroom. So for example, in mediation, we can utilize different creative provisions and different creative approaches to best address the needs of separating or divorced spouses or parents more so than a judge can. There's plenty of times where judges will say, I wish I could, but I can't. I wish I could order that life insurance be taken out, but I can't. I wish I could order that someone go to a parenting therapy ongoing sessions, but I can't, because courts and judges are simply limited in what they can and cannot do, so much so that is negatively impacting our community's families. So it is critical to be able to get creative. It is critical to really hear the voices of everyone, including the children, if we really want to change the face of divorce and family disputes for the future.
Wow. What is the divorce rate these days?
Sure. I actually just wrote an article on that. And it's interesting because it depends. and I hate to say that, Regina, because you're like, of course, you're an attorney. You're going to say it depends. It really does, because the divorce rate is less than 50% for first marriages. So, nod of the hat to that. I will say that does parallel the decrease in marriage rates. So less people are just getting married. So there is that. But once you go to your second marriage, it's about over a 60% chance of getting divorced if it's your second marriage, and over a 70% chance of getting divorced if it's your third marriage.
Wow, that's a little shocking. I didn't realize all that. Holy cow. Yeah, you're right. I guess a lot of people just don't get married anymore. Mm-hmm. But, they're still having children, and there's still custody battles and things like that. I know personally you're very, very passionate about domestic violence. And I believe you support some local causes. Would you like to share any of those with us?
Sure. So here in Charlotte specifically, we have Safe Alliance, which is our local nonprofit that provides services for victims of domestic violence and sexual assault. They are a fantastic organization. Not only do they have a shelter, but they try to provide as well a holistic approach. So they provide resources beyond just the shelter. In addition to that, we have Pat's Place, and Pat's Place is a child advocacy center, and they're integral because they work with local law enforcement to help support any criminal investigations and prosecutions when children are the victims of severe abuse, whether that's physical abuse or sexual assaults. And there's also the relatives, I'm smiling if you can't hear it, brings a very warm touch to my heart, simply because the relatives is one of the older nonprofits here in the Charlotte area. And as their name kind of implicates, is they provide that family touch, that personal support to the children in our community, if they're runaways or if they're foster children that have aged out, or if it's just families that are going through a very, very rough spot. They are the quote unquote relatives that can step in and really help families in our community find those resources. And I love because they have the on-ramp center, so it helps young adults basically on ramp to adulthood and become productive citizens in our community. And so we're very involved with that organization as well. And then we have a few other nonprofits like Playing for Others, but I do also want to bring attention to the Umbrella Center. The Umbrella Center is going to be our community's family justice center. Fingers crossed it's going to finish being built either late 2025 or into 2026. And it is going to be a one-stop shop for any victim of abuse, whether that's domestic violence, sexual assault, elder abuse, and the list goes on.
My goodness, that's a lot that you're involved in, and congratulations on your commitment to all of that. What are you most proud of with now that you have your own firm? And by the way, this dynamic female team.
Yes. Well, it's funny you say that, Regina. That makes me laugh because a lot of people are like, oh, you've created a great team of females. I'm like, no, I've created a great team of professionals. We just all happen to be females because that's what was the best out there. And,
gotcha.
And so we have 5 attorneys and a number of support staff. And we really are here as different professionals coming from different backgrounds. Like Tiffany, for example, she's one of our attorneys. She has a master's in social work and was in the social work field for approximately 7 years. Then we have Deb Dillman, who's been a practicing attorney for over 20 years. She's also a collaborative law professional. We have Sabrina, who volunteers with Title IX work at universities. And we just have such a dynamic group, and we have so many life experiences that we bring together that really provides our clients, since we work as a team, our clients a very unique opportunity to have a number of professional minds thinking together to figure out creative ways to not only address their legal needs, but more importantly, the needs of their family.
That's amazing. You've done a lot in a short amount of years. So when you're not working, what do you do for fun?
Well, that's actually an exciting part too, because with my background with being a family law attorney, I took the very big jump and risk, if you will, considering the divorce rate, to get married. So I'm very excited, very excited to announce.
Congratulations!
Thank you. I do have a husband, and in my spare time, I do love hanging out with him. We love to travel. We love to play video games. Actually, we're both gamers. And yeah, we love to just hang out with friends and family.
Yeah, I never thought about, getting married with the work you do. What a dilemma that possibly can be. Well, you are amazing, Theresa. I wish our listeners could see the smile on your face, because I can tell you love what you do.
I do. Thank you, Regina.
Well, thank you for being on our show today. I really appreciate it. I look forward to meeting you out in the community.
Me too. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Good Neighbor Podcast. To nominate your favorite local businesses to be featured on the show, go to gnpsouthcharlotte.com. That's gnpsouthcharlotte.com, or call 980-351-5719.